Hello and welcome to Written Words. I'm Helen, and in this video I'm just going to share another little snippet from my book Sentimental Tales. The book explores the sentimentalist writing of Nikolai Karamzin, who was a late 18th, early 19th century Russian writer. It contains 4 of Karamzin's stories, and each of those 4 stories is paired with another story by someone who either was influenced by Karamzin or who influenced him. Throughout the book, you can see the development of Karamzin's writing style, from saccharine sweet melodrama through a slightly gothic phase, and then the final story is very tongue-in-cheek. It's loosely based on the story of Diana and Actaeon from Ovid's Metamorphoses, but instead of using a conventional translation of Ovid's story, I decided to follow in Karamzin's tongue-in-cheek style by translating it into the Yorkshire dialect. My version is based on Henry Thomas Riley's translation of Ovid's Metamorphoses, Book 3. And it was fun to play around with the words. My favourite part was where Diana's dogs enter the scene and Ovid lists all the dogs by name. So I had to find some rather Yorkshire sounding names for my version of the dogs. So here is Actaeon's Odyssey on Ilkley Moor. There were this mountain, thou knows, where a young lad called Actaeon had been hunting wi' his mates. By middle o' day though, it were right hot, and they were proper tired, so he says to his mates, "That'll do for now, lads. Let's call it a day, and we'll give it another go in morning. Put your stuff away and get this ends 40 winks." Just round corner there were a valley with this nice little spot wi' a bit of a stream that were dead pretty. Diana used to like going there to wash off muck after she'd been hunting. Any road, she were there that day, with them nymphs she allus hung out wi'. She give 'em all her spears and arrows and that, and they give her an hand taking off her clothes and sandals like. One of 'em tied her hair up in a bobble and all. Then she stood in stream, and nymphs filled those whopping great pots wi' water and chucked it over her. This Actaeon chap just happened to be sauntering past when they were at it. It weren't his fault though. How the heck were he supposed to know they'd be there? When nymphs clapped eyes on him, they didn't half kick off. They were screaming their heads off, 'cause this bloke had seen 'em wi' nowt on, and they crowded round Diana to try and hide her. Trouble war, she were right tall and stuck out of at top. She lobbed a load of water at him and said, "If thou thinks thou can tell folk thou's seen me starkers, thou's got another think coming." After that, she magicked antlers onto his head, and give him pointy ears and hoofs and all that, to make him look like a stag. Poor lad run off, but were a bit surprised at how fast he could run. When he saw his reflection in a stream, he tried to yell summat to his friends, but all that come out were a funny groan. While he was standing there wondering what the heck he should do next, he heard dogs barking, and it dawned on him that his own whippets were coming after him. Nipper and Snapper were in lead, with Mardy Lad and Thruppence close behind. Then there were Bobby Dazzler, Crackpot, Chip Butty, Cake-Hole, Clartiers, Jammy Dodger, Luggo, Donny Boy, and Little Tyke, with Yorkshire Pudding and Old Codger at back. He had another go at saying summat, but nowt come out. If he hung about there, he'd be ripped to shreds. So he legged it of at Moor as fast as he could, but them whippets run like clappers, and caught up with him faster than I could say Jack Robinson. Safe to say, there weren't much left of him a few moments later. Diana were well chuffed when she heard he'd snuffed it. If you're not familiar with the Yorkshire dialect, I have included a little glossary at the end of the story as well. If you would like to know more about my collection, Sentimental Tales, then do take a look at my previous video of Poor Lisa, which is perhaps Karamzin's most well-known story. And there is more information on my website at writtenwords.uk/books. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, happy reading and happy writing.